December 22nd, 2023, 11:14 a.m. Eastern Ukraine airspace, approximately 40 kilometers from front line. A Russian Su-34 fighter bomber conducts strike mission. Target Ukrainian ground positions. The aircraft carries guided bombs, glide munitions. Release at distance. Stay outside Ukrainian air defense envelope. Standard doctrine. Low-risk mission profile. At 11:17 a.m., Ukrainian air defense engages. Surface-to-air missile. The Su-34 attempts evasive maneuvers. Deploys countermeasures. Insufficient. Impact. Aircraft destroyed. Both crew members killed. $50 million aircraft lost. 3 days later, December 25th. Christmas Day. Another Su-34. Different sector. Same result. Air defense intercept. Aircraft destroyed. Crew killed. 6 days after that, December 31st. New Year's Eve. Third Su-34. Third loss. 11 days. 3 fighter bombers. $150 million in aircraft. 6 trained crew members dead. This is MilFront. And what happened between December 22nd and December 31st isn't random bad luck. It's the manifestation of a systematic shift in air defense capability, operational doctrine, or threat assessment. 3 possibilities. Only one is correct. Was it Patriot batteries achieving full operational capability? Was it new Ukrainian tactics exploiting Russian patterns? Or was it Russian overconfidence leading to predictable operations in newly dangerous airspace? The official Ukrainian statements are vague. Successful air defense operations. No specifics on systems used. No details on engagement geometry. Just results. 3 Su-34s down. Russian military acknowledges losses. Can't hide them. Aircraft wreckage exists. Crew deaths confirmed to families. But the acknowledgement comes without explanation. No analysis of what changed. No admission that something fundamental shifted. Stay with me. Because the detail that explains these 3 losses, the specific tactical or technological change that turns Su-34 operations from routine to suicidal, is going to reveal whether this is sustainable Ukrainian capability or temporary vulnerability that Russian forces will adapt around. Let's establish what Su-34 actually is, what it does, why losing 3 matters. Sukhoi Su-34 fullback Russian fighter bomber. Development 1990s, 2000s. Production 2008 present. Approximately 140-150 in Russian service. Primary ground attack aircraft. Replaces older Su-24 in role. Design twin-seat, twin-engine fighter bomber. Side-by-side seating. Unusual for combat aircraft. Armoured cockpit. Redundant systems. Designed for survivability in contested airspace. Not air superiority fighter. Not pure bomber. Multi-role with emphasis on precision ground attack. Capabilities. Can carry a variety of weapons. Guided bombs. Cruise missiles. Anti-radiation missiles. Air-to-air missiles for self-defense. Sophisticated avionics. Electronic warfare suite, designed to penetrate modern air defenses and deliver precision strikes. Cost, approximately $50 million per aircraft. Expensive. Each loss is significant budgetary impact. More importantly, crew training. Su-34 pilots require years of training. Weapon systems officers similarly specialized. Can't be replaced quickly. Each crew loss degrades operational capability for months. Russian employment in Ukraine, initially aggressive. Early 2022 saw Su-34s operating close to front lines. Heavy losses. Ukrainian air defense, mostly older Soviet systems, proved more capable than expected. Russian tactics adapted, shifted to standoff operations, launch guided weapons from distance, minimize exposure to air defense. By late 2023, Su-34 operations had settled into pattern. Launch glide bombs from 40-60 kilometers. Stay outside range of known Ukrainian air defense systems. S-300. Buk. Older systems with 40 km max range. The Su-34s operate just beyond that envelope. Calculated risk. Acceptable losses. Sustainable operations. until December 22nd, when the calculation changed. Now, Ukrainian air defense. What capabilities exist in December 2023? Primary systems, S-300 variants, Soviet-era long-range SAM, effective but limited quantity, heavy attrition from Russian strikes, Buk M1, medium range, also limited and degraded, NASAMS, Norwegian American, small quantities, effective but insufficient coverage, Patriot, American, game changer potential. But how many? Where deployed? Ukraine received first Patriot systems in April 2023. Initial battery, then additional deliveries. Total count, classified. Estimates range from 2 to 4 complete batteries by December. Not enough for comprehensive coverage. Must be deployed selectively. High value areas. Kyiv definitely. Other locations unknown. Patriot capability, range 160 plus kilometers depending on missile variant. Can engage aircraft, cruise missiles, ballistic missiles. More capable than Soviet-era systems, but also more expensive. Limited missile inventory. Must be used judiciously. Can't waste on low-value targets. The question, were the 3 Su-34s shot down by Patriot? Or something else? This matters because the answer determines whether Ukrainian air defense has fundamentally changed or if these losses are anomaly. Patriot means sustained capability. Other factors might be temporary. December 22nd. First shootdown. What actually happened? 11:14 a.m. Su-34 conducts strike mission. Eastern sector. Target Ukrainian positions near Avdiivka. The aircraft launches from Russian airfield. Flies to launch point, approximately 50 kilometers from Ukrainian positions. It releases glide bombs. Standard procedure. Done hundreds of times. Glide bombs release. The Su-34 begins egress. Turning away. Maintaining altitude. 8,000 meters. Standard altitude for weapon release. High enough to be outside most air defense range. Low enough for accurate weapon delivery. Ukrainian air defense. Tracking. Has been tracking since aircraft entered detection range. Not just radar track. Multiple sensors. Integrating data. Calculating intercept geometry. Waiting for optimal engagement opportunity. 11:16 a.m. Su-34 completes turn. Heading away from Ukrainian positions. Speed 900 km/h. Altitude 8,000 meters. Range from Ukrainian air defense position 60 kilometers. Reducing as aircraft egresses along specific corridor. This detail matters. The aircraft is egressing, not approaching, moving away from threat. In theory, safer phase of mission. But the geometry creates opportunity. The aircraft path is predictable. Egress corridors are limited. Can't fly anywhere. Must avoid other air defense zones. Must return to base. Routes become predictable with pattern analysis. 11:17 a.m. Ukrainian air defense launches. Surface-to-air missile. Type unconfirmed. Could be Patriot. Could be S-300. Could be something else. Launch detected by Su-34's warning systems. Pilot alerted. Begins evasive maneuvers. But the missile is already in flight. Closing velocity high. Time to impact, maybe 30-40 seconds from launch detection. The Su-34 deploys chaff, flares, electronic countermeasures. Everything available. Standard defensive response. Insufficient. Missile tracks through countermeasures. Homes on target. Proximity fuse detonation. Fragmentation. Aircraft catastrophic damage. Loss of control. Both crew members eject. But ejection at 8,000 meters over hostile territory. Neither survives. Captured or killed during descent. Exact fate unclear. First Su-34 loss. Russian military analyzes. What went wrong? Possible explanations. New Ukrainian air defense system deployed. Change in tactics. Electronic warfare failure. Bad luck. Without clear answer, difficult to adapt. Russian response. Continue operations. Adjust slightly. maybe increase altitude, maybe change egress routes, but fundamental pattern continues. Su-34s must conduct strikes. Ground forces need air support. Can't stop operations because of one loss. December 25th, second shootdown. Christmas Day, different sector, western axis, near Robertine. Different Su-34 crew, different mission, same result. The aircraft conducts standard glide bomb attack, launches weapons, begins egress. Ukrainian air defense engagement, missile launch. The Su-34 attempts evasion, deploys countermeasures, again insufficient. Missile impact, aircraft destroyed, crew killed, pattern emerging. Both losses during egress phase, both at similar altitude, both in similar range. Not coincidence. Either Ukrainian air defense has new capability effective at these ranges, or Ukrainian tactics are exploiting specific vulnerability in Su-34 operations. Russian military now concerned. One loss is bad enough. Two losses suggest systematic problem. Analysis intensifies, but answers remain unclear. Is it Patriot? Are Patriots now deployed forward? Or is something else happening? The uncertainty creates operational dilemma. Continue Su-34 missions and accept losses, or reduce operations and lose air support capability. Neither option is good. Command decisions become political. Senior leadership must balance risk against necessity. Decision: continue operations, but with modifications. Higher altitude releases, different egress routes, enhanced electronic warfare support, more fighter escorts. All attempts to reduce vulnerability. But without understanding root cause, effectiveness is uncertain. December 31st. Third shootdown. New Year's Eve. Southern sector. Near Zaporizhia front. Third Su-34. Third loss. Despite modifications. Despite enhanced countermeasures. Despite different tactics. This aircraft conducts mission at higher altitude. 10,000 meters versus previous 8,000. Released weapons from greater range. Egressed along different corridor than previous standard routes. All adaptations based on lessons from first two losses. Ukrainian air defense engages anyway. Same result. Missile launch. Intercept. Aircraft destroyed. Crew killed. 3 losses in 11 days. Pattern is undeniable. Something fundamental has changed. Russian Su-34 operations that were sustainable in November have become unsustainable in December. The loss rate is catastrophic. 3 aircraft is 2% of entire Su-34 fleet. 6 crew members in 11 days. Operational tempo at this loss rate would eliminate the fleet in under 2 years. Now the analysis. What actually changed? 3 possibilities. Possibility 1. Patriot deployment. Ukraine positioned Patriot batteries forward, covering areas previously beyond air defense range. The 160-kilometer Patriot range creates engagement zone that overlaps Su-34 operating areas. Aircraft that thought they were safe are now vulnerable. This would explain sudden increase in losses. Patriot is more capable than Soviet systems. Better radar, better missiles, better engagement logic. Supporting evidence: Ukrainian military has been deliberately vague about Patriot locations. Operational security: don't want Russia knowing where systems are deployed. The vagueness itself suggests something changed. If using same old systems, no reason to hide that. Counter evidence: Patriot batteries are expensive. Limited quantity. Missiles are scarce. Would Ukraine really use them against fighter bombers conducting routine strikes? Or save them for cruise missiles and ballistic missiles targeting cities? Priorities matter. Shooting down Su-34s is nice. Protecting civilian populations is necessary. Possibility 2. Tactical innovation. Ukraine analysed Su-34 operational patterns. Identified vulnerability. Egress routes are predictable. Timing is consistent. Aircraft must return to specific air bases. Routes are constrained by geography and other air defense zones. This predictability creates opportunity. Position existing air defense systems, maybe upgraded S-300 with extended range missiles, along egress routes. Wait for aircraft to enter envelope. Engage when geometry is optimal. Supporting evidence. All 3 shootdowns occurred during egress phase, not approach. Not during weapon delivery. After. When pilots think they're safe. When attention might be slightly reduced. When aircraft are in predictable corridors. This pattern suggests deliberate exploitation of operational vulnerability. Counter evidence. Why would it take until December for Ukraine to figure this out? Su-34s have been operating since February 2022. Pattern should have been evident earlier. Unless something else changed that made this tactic viable now. Maybe integration with NATO intelligence. Maybe better sensor fusion. Something that enabled the exploitation. Possibility 3. Russian overconfidence. Russian pilots and planners became complacent. Months of successful operations without losses created assumption of safety. The 40-60 kilometer standoff is safe became doctrine. Unquestioned. Unchallenged. So operations became routine. Predictable. Vulnerable. Ukrainian air defense exploited that predictability. Not through new capability. Through patience. Waiting for patterns to become firm. Then striking when probability of success was highest. Supporting evidence. Russian military has history of operational inflexibility. Once doctrine is established, changing it requires significant catalyst. The first Su-34 loss should have triggered immediate operational pause and analysis. It didn't. Missions continued. That continuation suggests overconfidence or institutional resistance to changing established patterns. Both are forms of overconfidence. Counter-evidence. Russian military has experienced heavy losses throughout this war. They're not naive about Ukrainian capabilities. Claiming overconfidence requires believing Russian command is incompetent. May be true, but seems too simple. Professional militaries learn from losses. Even flawed institutions adapt eventually. 3 possibilities. Which is correct? The answer is probably combination. Not one factor. Multiple factors converging. Patriot batteries deployed forward provide new capability. Ukrainian tactical analysis identifies egress phase vulnerability. Russian operational patterns become predictable enough to exploit. All 3 together create conditions where Su-34 losses spike. But there's 4th possibility nobody discusses. Operational tempo changes. Maybe Russian Air Force is flying more missions. Increased tempo means increased exposure. More exposure means more losses, even if per mission risk stays constant. 3 losses in 11 days could reflect 300 missions flown, versus previous 100 missions monthly. Same loss rate. Different absolute numbers. We don't have sortie rate data. Can't confirm or deny. But it's possible factor. Changes everything about interpretation. If losses spike because operations increased, that's different problem than if losses spike because defense improved. 3 questions from the beginning. Time to answer them. What changed in Ukrainian air defense? Most likely, combination of improved capability and improved employment. Patriot batteries provide longer range engagement option. Better integration with existing systems creates more comprehensive coverage. Intelligence support, possibly from NATO, enables better target tracking and engagement prediction. Not single miracle weapon. Systematic improvement across multiple dimensions. Is this sustainable capability or temporary vulnerability? Depends which factors dominate. If it's Patriot-based, sustainability depends on missile availability. Patriot interceptors are expensive. Limited inventory. Can't sustain high engagement rate indefinitely. If it's tactics-based, sustainability depends on Russian adaptation. Once Russians change patterns, exploitation becomes harder. Likely answer, temporary advantage. Russians will adapt. Loss rate will decrease, but won't return to 0. New baseline will be established. What does this mean for air operations? Russian Air Force must adapt or accept losses. Adaptation options. Further increase standoff range. Reduce mission tempo.
enhance electronic warfare, change timing and routing to be less predictable, all reduce effectiveness. The adaptation cost is measured in reduced strike capacity. That reduced capacity helps Ukraine even without shooting down aircraft. The threat of air defense shapes operations even when missiles don't launch. The lesson from December 2031 isn't that Ukrainian air defense suddenly became impenetrable.
It's that incremental improvements in capability and employment can create disproportionate operational impact. 3 aircraft losses force systematic changes in Russian air operations. Those changes reduce effectiveness, reduce pressure on Ukrainian ground forces, create breathing room. That breathing room is strategic value beyond 3 aircraft destroyed. The real victory isn't the shootdowns, it's the operational adaptation they forced. This is MilFront. We analyze the battles that change wars, and these 3 shootdowns changed Russian air operations in southern Ukraine, forced increased standoff ranges, created uncertainty about safe operating areas, made every mission higher risk. That psychological and operational impact exceeds simple attrition. The Su-34 fleet continues operations. Loss rate has decreased since December. Russian forces adapted, but the adaptation came at cost. Reduced effectiveness. Higher altitude releases mean less accuracy. Greater standoff means longer mission times. The changes compound into degraded air support capability. Ukraine achieved this not through wonder weapon, but through systematic improvement. Better sensors, better integration, better tactics, better intelligence. Each marginal improvement seems small. Combined, they create conditions where 3 losses in 11 days become possible. And those losses force enemy adaptation that achieves strategic effect. Subscribe to MilFront. Because in modern warfare, you don't need to destroy enemy capability. You just need to threaten it enough that they adapt in ways that degrade their effectiveness. 3 shootdowns achieved more through forcing adaptation than through attrition. 150 million in aircraft destroyed. 6 crew members killed. 11 days that forced Russian Air Force to fundamentally change how it operates Su-34 missions. The immediate tactical victory is clear. The strategic impact is deeper. Sustained pressure on Russian air operations. Reduced effectiveness. Degraded support to ground forces. If you think air defense improvements are sustainable, type MilFront in the comments. If you think Russian forces will adapt and restore effectiveness, tell me how. Because the adaptation struggle is ongoing. Every improvement Ukrainian air defense makes forces Russian counter-adaptation. The cycle continues. Neither side stands still. For now, December 22nd, 31 represents moment when balance shifted. Not permanently, not completely, but enough to matter. 3 aircraft, 11 days. Systematic impact on Russian air operations that continues months later. Real battles, real tactics, real consequences. Stay informed.